Just a minute. I'm sorry. We are? My drive. Where is that? I'm not just running. Okay. 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 Did you guys try with the MySQL? I mean, MySQL connection. Anyone? Or any of the relational databases? I mean, a part of this PostgreSQL. Okay. You guys done with this single client and the pool client both? What happened? Divyansh, are you in office or what? Great. So then Veera or Sandeep can answer me. Veera, any update from you? Questions, feedbacks, anything is fine. And Veera, Sandeep,
I can't any errors. So
you guys went for practice.
Sir, here the SQL queries
yes,
we can write somewhere else and we can access that SQLs, right?
Yes, that's what I mean. These are just a kind of variable. That's it. See, SQL dot query will take two parameters. One is something called
Yeah.
a string, and another one is a callback. You can keep this string somewhere, either in a constants file or a database. Let's create one another folder called queries or something. Inside the queries, you
Yeah.
just create one JSON. So get users is one query, and get users with some condition is another query. Just access those by using this require module and just put that variable here.
Request only, right?
Clear?
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Sandeep. Okay, before I'm going for today's session, to be frank, I don't have anything on my mind. Actually, I need to install Mongo Compass. I did this for some other purpose, but okay, this is what Mongo Compass looks like. Okay, please go ahead.
Recording in progress.
Please go ahead and install MongoDB Compass. Okay, so I just give you the link. Just a minute. Compass download. Okay, so basically what MongoDB Compass is, remember one thing, MongoDB is our database server and Compass is the nothing but a client. Okay, so for PostgreSQL, we use a PG admin, right? Similarly, just like a PG admin, for a MongoDB, for if you want to run your server locally, you can call it as a MongoDB Compass. This is a graphical user interface. When you install this one, see there are options like if you're using Mac or Linux or Ubuntu or whatever the operating system, and the stable version, whatever you're seeing here, just select that pack, and the package is basically a exe will be there for the Windows operating system. So just click on the download, and then immediately you can go with that and just keep installing in your machines. Okay, once after installation is done, it will looks like this. When you open this one, right, it will look like this. I am working on something called Derby.js. That is a different in my project. Okay, forget about this part. Okay, so let's say there is one what it is called database I created. The database name is a multivendor. See, these are the databases. If you refresh here, you can create all the databases here. There is something called a categories is my schema. I have created one schema. So before I jump into this one, like PostgreSQL, you guys may have surprised like suddenly I got installed and showing that queries and all. I'm sorry, but here what I will do, first of all, go to this W3 schools. Go to MongoDB. Okay, just read about this MongoDB tutorial. Okay, it won't take much time. Hardly guess if you put your time for at least uh, 2 to 3 hours. That is more than enough here. Okay, only the thing is you need to understand what is a MongoDB is. Like in a MongoDB, basically it's a document based database. I can say it as a NoSQL database. It is one kind of NoSQL database, and it will store everything in a object format. That is a JSON format or binary object as well. Like JavaScript object notation is the best format, which is called as a JSON as well. So what you will do, you will save everything inside in the form of objects. So every two objects may not contains the same kind of what data. Here, let's say there is an example document contains a title, body, category. In other object, you can save a category, likes and tags. Okay, so it is not like all the objects should have a same kind of schema and all. Okay, so whenever you are having all the documents, a collection of documents is called a collection. Basically, if you keep every multiple objects at the same place, which is a document, multiple objects of is nothing but a collection. Okay, so you can write down some example like db.post.find. Okay, category. So find in the sense just like a select statement, it will call a find. There are some example, I mean, then some features are there. Just start with here. Okay, so you just learn about a SQL versus document database, local versus cloud base. I need to explain about this local versus cloud base. Local in the sense, whenever you install a MongoDB in your machine, right, like MongoDB Compass, this will work act like a server. Okay, this database acts like a server. Whatever you want to write a query, you can just open here and you can write either directly, you can type a query here and you can generate a query. Okay, so whatever the data you want to get, you can get that. See, there are a lot of capabilities are there, like you can import the data or export the data. A lot of possibilities are there. But remember one thing: NoSQL database completely works on a JavaScript. Okay, there is no such a query language. Everything is a JavaScript. That is nothing but an object, right? Everything is a JavaScript. And here you can understand one part. So whenever the front-end technology stacks came to the picture, like a JavaScript by using, I mean, Angular, React, Vue, all this comes to the picture. And in the middle layer, whenever the Node.js becomes the most popular framework, on the top of Node.js, you have a lot of. See, I just told you the example for the Derby.js, right? Derby.js, right? If I go here, I can show you something like Derby.js. Okay. Example, sorry, github.com, the Derby example. I mean, to say Derby.js. Derby.js is one of the framework. Okay, if you go here, right, it's a clearly you can see that Derby is nothing but on the top of Node. You have to, the Derby MVC framework makes it easy to write real-time collaborative applications that run in both Node.js and the browsers. That means this is the completely developed on the top of Node.js. So if you are aware of what is basic concepts like callbacks, promises, async awaits, events, file systems, binary, bcrypt, and crypto, these kind of modules, if you are aware of, right, on the top of it, whatever the framework, whether it is an XJS or Express.js or Derby.js, whatever the framework, easily you can learn. But there is a little bit difference between this Derby and this Express and XJS. Express and XJS are purely running on the server side, but Derby.js is designed in such a way like to run it on the both browser and as well as the Node.js. I mean, it's like both front end and the back end. You can write it in a single language. So of course, this is a secondary. I'm just giving you some example, like what kind of frameworks are you there in Node.js, right? Okay, Node.js frameworks. Node.js framework, see, Express.js, Nest.js, Turtle.js, Kova, Happy, Meteor, Loopback, REST API frameworks. There are a lot of Fastify, Restify are really most popular frameworks nowadays. Okay, Sails, it is somewhat an old one, but Express is always the top. So I suggest you to go and learn this Express.js and Next.js. So obviously Express.js, in the sense you are already done with this one, right? Like Express.js, we wrote some piece of code and all. Obviously you understood, but just do the same kind of experiment with the Next.js, configure Next.js in your machine. But if you have any questions, please do let me know. I will spend some time to show you a demonstration if you really need how to configure your Next.js and all. Okay, see a top JavaScript frameworks, which one to choose. If you just need to read that this kind of articles. Okay, just need to read the articles and try to understand what kind of, see, Node.js, React. See how many percent is on the top of all the frameworks. 42.65% people are using a Node.js. After that, React is the most popular framework, and then Express is the first framework on the top of Node.js, and then Meteor.js, and and Vue.js is there, Kova.js is there, Sails is there, Nest is there. There are a lot of frameworks are there. I am not asking you to go with each and every one, but at least you should have a hands-on experience with the minimum two of the framework. Okay, so please go ahead with this MongoDB. Just try to read about like how to create a cluster and all. Okay, first of all, we stopped here, right? Local database, in the sense, the local database, whenever you install a MongoDB Compass in your machine, it acts like a server. And if you want to write a query, you can have a query place here. You can directly add some methods. Okay, but before going to MongoDB, I mean, once you understood what is a MongoDB, okay, so wait, this is for downloading a MongoDB, right? I will just mention here to not forget you. I will go here. Okay. Now, next one, go with the basic learning. Okay. Come here. Okay. So go with all MongoDB concepts, like how you can insert a collection, how you can find a collection, update the collection, and delete the collection. What are the query operators are there? What are the updated operators are there? How we can do the aggregations. There are a lot of aggregations are there. Count, match, sort, limit, all these stuff. These people we will use inside the MongoDB. Indexing and searching is most of the times it is a theoretical concept, but you need to understand what is the index, what is index, right? So you need to apply indexing on each and every database, whether it is a relational database or a non-relational database. Definitely you have to learn about a MongoDB. Indexing. Indexing works with the with both the SQL and NoSQL, both the databases. When you are apply for index, and then basically what will happen, your querying is very fast. Okay. And remember, when compared with the SQL database, non-SQL database are very, very fast, because there is no such a kind of a querying and all. There is no such a backend engine. Directly we are writing some piece of methods and just simply executing it. And remember, dot aggregate, if you are writing, right, this is nothing but one simple JavaScript method. That JavaScript method won't take much time to execute. Even if it is in a server or it is a browser, within a milliseconds it will execute and it will return some set of records. But the suggestion part is, if your project is very huge project, and let's say there are thousands of records are there, and if you are having a joins and all, in that cases really won't suggest it to go with NoSQL databases. Always choose the SQL databases only. Why? Because if you select the SQL databases, down the line, when you go and your features are implemented and your application is become a wide, in that cases, definitely SQL database will help you a lot. But if it is a small application, like let's say there somebody asked you to implement a book my show application or simple e-commerce application, it's not like many features, but at least a simple. Okay, that kind of data, then definitely you need to go with the NoSQL data. Like somebody asked, like just implement a book my show kind of app or application for my particular theater or something. Okay. Or somebody asked, like I have a very small enterprise. In that enterprise only we will sell some books or something. So for that we don't need a heavy kind of data, right? Hardly you will insert the data and you will delete the data, read and update that. So there is no such a kind of joinings and all. So in that cases, definitely you can go ahead and go and use this non-SQL database. Not only for a Mongo, you can use a Redis or something. Basically, Redis is dedicated for a catching purpose, so definitely go with the Redis. So there is a validation. See, we are using a Joy validation. You remember there is something called a Joy framework we have used. That validation is only on the middle level part, that is server part. But whenever you want to add a validation for your database level, inside the database level, then you need to go with the MongoDB validation. See, if you observe this one, date is a Besson type is a date, description must be data optional. Type is a string tags, likes in the sense it is an integer. Similarly, category string, body string, title string. So like this, you can apply all kind of data. Okay, how you know which kind of data type and all? See, if you go here, right, you can see the query API and get started in this section. So you will see find all the types of data available here. So don't go with this data API and all, but drivers and all, this is a different case. But when you remember, when I asked you to go with the created databases and all, by this time I told you something like a local versus cloud database. Okay, local database in the sense everything in your server, but there is something called a cloud database. MongoDB gives the facility to save the database directly on the cloud. You don't need to worry about your server maintenance and everything inside your local box or your client's database, client's machines and all. Instead of that, there is something called a MongoDB Atlas. MongoDB Atlas is one of the best option to go with. So just sign up with the Google. Okay, no need to worry. Just a free and open source, but there is some limitation. If you have like a 10 to 15 type of clusters, you can use that, but beyond that 15 or 10 clusters you cannot use. That means there is some limit, like some particular GB is there. Once if you are going beyond that GB, definitely you cannot use that. So once you create that one, right, see, I created some long back, like Balu organization 2024 11 month, something like this. Okay, so when you create this project zero, right, this is what the cluster, you can create a direct cluster here, and once you create the cluster there, you can save your data. That means directly you can give this particular what it is called URL to connect to your database. I will show you some example from the node, like how you can connect to the local databases and how you can connect with the what it is called, cloud database. Okay, there are two things we need to do in the by using the MongoDB. But first of all, just go with the cloud.mongodb.com, cloud.mongodb.com. Okay, just go with that and try to install this Atlas. Just take the what it is called, account in cloud MongoDB, right? So here just take this one. So I have created only one project, but you can create any number of projects here. But I told you, like, there are some limitations. I taken only one cluster for my project purpose. You can add any number of clusters. There are only one user, but I can add any number of users. Of course, if you go for a billing part, right, if you need a more number of clusters, then definitely you need to pay here. So that too, the payment will be in such a way, like sometimes it will go with the quarterly, sometimes it go with the half yearly, or sometimes it is go with the annually. So it depends on the plan you subscription you will take, right? Based on the subscription, the billing will be there. So main points you need to know is install MongoDB in your machines and go with the W3 Schools MongoDB nodes and try to learn something like a basics at least. You need to understand what is the data types, how the operators in the MongoDB will work, and if you go with that one, then definitely we will have one more session to connection with the database and all. SQL Server, yes, we can connect, but okay, so I don't know whether SQL Server is installed in my machine or not. No, SQL Server was not installed. Basically, I have some experience with the SQL Server R2. That is a long back I have used, but right, SQL Server is mostly a paid one. I mean to say, like, you need to create one server there, and you need to take that connection string. See, any database, if you want to connect to the node, always remember there is only one thing called a connection string. Once if you get your connection string there, right, then automatically you can connect. Let me show you. I just use a disconnect. See, once if you this one is a MongoDB colon double slash localhost colon 27017. This is a connection string. It's called as a connection string. That is nothing but one URL which helps you to connect to any server, like in a MongoDB. Similarly, if you are having a SQL server, you will have something called a SQL server with a big URL will be provided by the Microsoft. There, that particular URL you need to take and you need to connect from there. That's it. Uh, Okay, I'm sorry, guys. So this is how this will work. Every database you can connect by using a connection string. Okay, sometimes you need to just Google it. That's it. Okay, SQL Server connection with Node.js. That's it. Just Google it. Proof of concept. Though there are some POC SQL using this one. So already Microsoft Direct, what it is called, official website itself, there will say like connect execute query insert row. So see, require TDS. There is something called, see, this is a third party library. Okay, sometimes if you are not able to connect directly, what you need to do, if you observe this one, right, server database dot windows dot net, this is what the connection string. You need to get that connection string, username, and password. Now, let's see what is this TDS. I'm not sure what is the TDS. npmjs.com. Go to package npmjs.com. Okay, and search for this TDS and see what is TDS is. Exactly. The TDS driver for connecting to MS SQL Server databases to the node implementation for TDS, right? See, everything is here. Only the thing is you need to know this. Go to here. Okay. If you want to have a new connection, you need to use a SQL database. Here, you need to have the server IP or URL, whatever I mentioned, and you need to know the what is the username and the password. That's it. And obviously, the database is a common, right? You need to have the database. See, wherever you are seeing update. Okay, now try with the Oracle. I don't know. Oracle connection with Node.js. Okay, connect with, okay, directly Oracle Help Center gives you some link. The same way it will be there. Okay, connect to app with an app with Node.js, right? Okay, okay, install Node.js. You need to install Node.js database drivers first, okay, and then run your application. Ah, Okay. Okay. So HTTP is required. Oracle DB is a package. So this is the package which you are used to connect to the Oracle DB. So if you want to get the connection, you need to get this user and the password and the connection string. You remember this word I'm using frequently, connection string. Whatever the connection string you want to connect, use that database access connection string, username and password. That's it. Simply use a dot get connection method. In the first object, you need to pass all these three parameters. Second parameter is a callback. Inside the callback, error will come first. That is error first callback. Otherwise, next one is a connection. Connection dot execute of whatever the query you want to write it, write it. And second parameter, I don't know why this empty array. Maybe some options you need to pass. And the third option is a third parameter is again a callback. Inside the callback, error first callback first is error. Next one is a result. Result dot rows will return you the data. That's it. Any questions? Okay, always remember this, the username and the password and the connection string. You need to mention the connection string as well. That is the main thing. If it is a local Oracle, right, you need to give the local host URL. Wherever the Oracle server is running, just give that connection string URL here, and then directly you can connect. Just copy paste this code into the app.js and just run it. Simple. You just need to do HTTP, npm HTTP Oracle DB. Okay, now go to here and search for what is Oracle DB. Don't blindly use that. Instead of that, just first to do some R&D on that one, like what kind of package it is and how much frequently this is updating. If you come here, right, you can see when it was updated. 15 days ago they are updating. That means that's good. At least frequently they are updating that one. See, this is a home page they have given, repository they have given, everything. So the version is 6.5, and currently we are using the version of 6.5.5. So Apache is handling these things. First search this data. I mean, it was like how much frequently they are using or they are updating this one. Once the support is not there, right, then definitely you cannot use this one. Obviously it will be the problem in future if you have faced some issues. 6.5.1, it is a public repository published in 15 days ago. That means every month or twice, or every 2 months at least they are updating. That is good. See, there is a revision history. You can see a month ago, it's a 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. That means frequently they are updating this one, so you don't need to worry. You can use this one, Oracle DB package. Clear? Okay, now, okay, what we have discussed. Okay, connection with the MySQL or SQL Server or Oracle DB, that things you need to do, because at least one SQL, one relational database I can install, but I don't know. Mongo somehow I installed for some other project, so that is the reason. Luckily, we have this one, but yeah. Otherwise, again, I need to get my admin permissions to install this one, and I need to tell a lot of reasons for them. That's fine. Okay, now the next part is how much you are good with JavaScript one. Okay, now you guys answer me. I will go with some few questions. Okay, so what is function currying means?
Function.
Function currying.
Function.
Did you ever heard about function currying? Oh my God. You remember we talked about the property descriptors? Just a few minutes back, I just taken one interview. So there are a lot of questions I have asked, and I'm not sure. Maybe that guy. Let me show you. These kind of questions I asked, like data types in JavaScript started here. Possible, what are the possible ways to create an object in JavaScript? Property descriptors with an example, high order functions, closures, function expressions, difference between let var const, block scope, reduce method in array, function currying, and later these are some what it is called JavaScript, I mean HTML related stuff. So when I asked about to write a code, property descriptor, I asked with an example, and closer, I am asking with some example. What is the local scope, block scope? I just given some examples and ask him what is output, and he is not able to say. Like using a reduce function, what is the unique elements, how we can return from an array. So asked to write a code to find the cube of every element, like in an array by using a map method, simple map method. So function using write some function by using a currying. Okay, so basically, if you are going with any Node.js interviews, right? Basically, they will start with the JavaScript. So if you are good with the JavaScript and TypeScript and all, then definitely people will say like, okay, these guys at least somewhat know the concept. No one will directly go with the Node.js and they will ask like, what is the modules and what is the middlewares? No, they people will never ask you. Instead of that, first they will basically Node.js is a concept oriented programming. It is not like a directly give some piece of code and ask you like that, right? So hardly if somebody interviewing you on the Node.js, basically what they will ask you to write some piece of code to read the file contents or delete the file or renaming the file. Hardly. Or what is a crypto, what are the different crypto methods you are aware of, how you can encrypt the data and how you can decrypt the data by using a Node.js. So nobody will ask you like write a code to create connect a single client or a pool client and to in a PostgreSQL. No, nobody will ask you. This is all you are learning for the purpose of surviving in the job. It is not to really crack the interview. If you really want to crack the interview, definitely I suggest you to go with the concepts of a JavaScript and the TypeScript. Somebody will ask you what are the types of operators you are aware in JavaScript. Okay, somebody tell me how many operators you are aware of in JavaScript. That's okay. At least one person, one operator is also fine. Everybody is quiet. Okay, Divyansh is in office. That's okay. What about others? Sandeep, Tejashwini, Veera. Where is Rakesh? Rakesh didn't came today.
Operators means like assignment operators,
Right. Right. Arithmetic operators, logical operators,
Logical
logical
operators,
operation.
assigning,
assignment operator, then
logical,
relational operator,
relational,
increment decrement operator, coercion operator, yeah, bitwise operator,
Comparison, further
comparison.
comparison.
right? There are a lot of see. The only thing is you need to go it in a flow. Just go with a one by one and then directly you can answer. Okay. Somebody ask you something like this. Can you explain what is a promise means? What is a promise? I think we discussed about the promise, right? What is
Yes,
a promise?
promise.
What is promise? Seriously, what is callback? Okay, a callback is a method
The
which will
method,
take another method as an argument. Yes, one function takes another parameter as an argument, which is nothing but a callback. In the callback, the current method, whatever that takes the arguments, that will execute first. And while ending that particular callback, by that time, it will just execute the callback method and the control will come out from there. So you remember there is a callback, but still we are using a promises. Why we are using a promises if we have a callbacks? What is the purpose of using a purposes? I mean, promises if we have, okay, I can't speak too much. Okay, Dinesh, that's fine. Tomorrow, anyways, I did it. You can speak a lot. So, if we have a callbacks there, then why we go for a promises? What is the use of promises? Come on, Sandeep. API? No, 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 no. If you want to perform any asynchronous operations in a JavaScript by using a JavaScript, then definitely you need to use a promises. See, callbacks also helps to write a asynchronous programming code, but the problem is there is something called a callback hell. Just go and read about this callback hell. Callback hell in the sense a one callback inside another callback inside another callback inside another callback. If this kind of situation will happen, right, by that time the control really don't know how to come out from the callback. So to avoid this kind of code, then definitely what we need to go is we need to go for a promises. So promises came to the picture only to avoid the callback hell. Callback hell
so
is on.
asynchronous programming also doing in the promises.
Yes, by using that is what the purpose, right? The
Okay,
purpose of promises is to write a
synchronous.
asynchronous operations, right?
Yes.
And if we have a promises, then why we came for async await?
Exactly. I don't know the deep, but
Right.
I have
Yeah.
some knowledge
Yeah.
on that. That's it.
But the thing is, why we are writing async await functions? Basically, promises can do anything. It can do all the asynchronous operations. But unfortunately, there is something called a promise chaining. If you heard about this word, promise chaining in JavaScript. Just go and read about this promise chaining. Once you are go for a promise chaining, right? A promise dot then dot then dot then dot then dot then you can write anything like dot catch dot finally. Okay, anything we can write. So if we are
Yeah.
making a bit complex about the promises, really developers face a very bad notation on the promise. See here he wrote something like promise dot then again dot then, so simply he can write again dot then dot then dot then dot then. He can do any write any kind of promises. Right? Okay, this will makes your code very clumsy. But JavaScript is simply a functional based programming. So they want to. I mean, it's like the ES6 committee, ES committee, ECMA committee wants to make a JavaScript very readable and easy for everyone. That is the reason they come up with the concept called a async await. Async await is a very easiest one. You just write simple function, put a async keyword and await keyword. Yesterday, I think we wrote some examples, right? Day before yesterday. So async await, that's it, nothing much. So whenever you put a await, the control will keeps you waiting till that operation is finished, and then it will go for the next further sessions. That's it. I think already we discussed about this async await and all. That
Yes,
means
yes, yes. In the startings,
yeah,
in the
in the very
initial
class, I told
classes.
you all these things, but you guys are not studying this. See, these are all examples are here. See, prototype, polyfills. I ask you to go with the polyfills and all. This is all about the promises,
Promises.
set mode, set interval, timer functions, everything I told here. But only the thing is, you guys needs to do and practice. Okay. Okay. Any questions? You guys have any questions? Please speak out. I mean, I really don't have energy today, but yeah. If you guys have any questions, I can answer your questions for today. No more questions, Sandeep.
So previously have connecting in the MongoDB. So my project is my cluster is resume. So initially I will try to the how to unregister the account.
Okay.
Previously I'm creating in the one right-click car application.
No, I didn't get your point, Pira. Can you repeat that?
Can I share my screen?
Yes, please. Just a minute. I don't know where I can stop my screen. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, please share your screen now. I'll just stop the recording for today because this is all a question and answer session, right? I'm just stopping the recording.
Recording stopped.
Okay. Hey, Oxford. No. Just a minute. Hey, just a second. 1 minute. Okay, so offset incorporation is there. So you can go here and there are few of the things you need to learn. Okay, where is that? It is not here. WAPs offset. 1 minute. Node.js security. This is the best place. I think you can security best practices, right? So here you can go here, and you can see there are some things are there. Okay, I may not go with each and everything, but I will give you some list of names while you are preparing your application. Definitely remember one thing. One thing is a CORS. Okay, so CORS is nothing but a cross origin resource sharing. This is one kind of security mechanism. Definitely you need to follow. Second one is a CSRF, cross-site request. I don't know what happened. CSRF token generation in Node.js. So CSRF stands for the cross-site request forgery. Whatever the attacks you are going to face in your application, you need to what it is called. You need to stop those things. And the next one is a and then next one is a what it is called, just a minute, SQL injection. Okay, one is called a SQL injection. This one you need to definitely follow that. And next one is a XSS issues, cross-site script attack. Okay, this is one kind of attack. This one you need to take care of. Out of all those things, this XSS issues you can prevent by using your front-end application. Let's say you are using a Angular or Vue or React. You can write your XSS. You can stop your XSS issues, but make sure if you are writing any code in the front end, it is gives you only 80% of security. It not gives 100% of security. So make sure, even if you are writing a front end side security layer, you need to go back and you need to write a server side validation. Server side validation. For server side validation, what you can use, you can request a joy. Joy is one of the framework, and a part of the joy, you need to write one security mechanism, something like a JWT or OAuth 2. There are multiple authentication mechanisms are there. But nowadays people are everyone using a JWT, because JWT is a very strong authentication layer. You can give your hashing algorithm and the payload it, and you can do the secret everything. It will generate one token. We will discuss about this JWT once we come up with the security, like authentication authorization, right? Then we will try to discuss more about this JWT. So either use a JWT or you can go with the OAuth 2. OAuth 2 is also one of the most famous, or popular security mechanism currently we are using in the market. Either you can go with this one or you can go with the JSON manager. Both will be the fine. Okay, if you take care of all these things, then once you deploy your code even in the Heroku or somewhere, okay, I mean in the open source, you can use that one, no issues. Up to your sometime you can use them. But you know today we are inserting 10 records. Just imagine, out of 30 days, daily 10 records, in the sense this will become a 300 records, right? So per year again it will become 3650 records. Let's say if you are going for a 5 years, the database will become more and more and more. By that time, what open source guys will tell you, like, okay, we are not able to handle all your sorry, we are not able to handle your all your requests and all. So that is the reason, just go with the subscription mode. Once if you go with the sorry, yeah, GoDaddy is also fine. I mean, you need to choose one, which one is a well less price and all. Nowadays, GoDaddy is also fine. You need to go for a domain and all. And remember, if you are working it for internal purpose, don't go with this all these things. Go with open source, because you're not sharing your URL with anyone. Only your company people will use inside your computers. So then it is fine. Either your family members, your employees, then it is fine. But if you are sharing your site to someone, I mean to say, like, if you want to do some marketing with that, and you want to have some web application and everybody comes to online and pay that and buy that, these kind of stuff, then definitely you need to go for either GoDaddy is also fine. Inside of the GoDaddy, you can deploy that either front end application, back end application and everything. For a Mongo database and all, you don't need to go with the payment mode. Just go with here and utilize how much data you have. And once it is done, then create another cluster and just pay for that. I mean to say, like, it is not compulsory until unless if it is a small one. But if it is a very big huge data, then definitely go with this. Nowadays cloud market is very competitive. I mean to say, like, if you go for AWS, inside the AWS you can install a front end applications, back end and database, everything you can do. You don't need to go with them. Same the GoDaddy will do, right? The same thing. There are something like a IaaS, infrastructure as a service, service as a software as a service, platform as a service, PaaS, SaaS, IaaS. There are lot of modes came in the market. But if you can write your code in the front end and back end, if you can configure database and everything, then don't go for that heavy AWS and all. Instead of that, just go with this GoDaddy and just deploy your code and see that everything is working fine. Done. But if your application is going to the public, uh, just imagine, out of 100 crores of people, Yeah, if that is the case, then definitely you need to go with the GoDaddy or some other I mean, or either open source or a GoDaddy. Because if you want a proper domain, something like https colon double slash www dot something dot com. If that is the case, dot com or dot co dot in, if that is the case, then definitely you need to buy a domain. From the open source you cannot do that. From the open source, what they will do, they will give you a url something like a www dot lab dot git dot something dot com. You can't share that url with everyone, right? That looks odd. If it is a public url, then definitely you need to go for a domain and buy a domain, and you can go with that. That is the only option. If you want to sell your product, first of all you need to have a client. Without a client you can't do anything. Mhm. Okay. If that is the case, go and approach this Amazon or Flipkart people, right? Directly, you can create a business account and you can post your what the things, and directly vendors will reach out to you, or customers will reach out to you. As a vendor, you can provide that things. That is a simple thing. Instead of creating your own website and make it a public, then it is very difficult, right? You can't promote that for a market. There should be some separate marketing team to handle all this stuff. Instead of that, if you go for Amazon and create a business account, or Flipkart, yeah, that is fine, right? Did you got my point? Yeah, just create a business account so you can have all the admin panels and everything will come there. That is fine, no issues. You are only want to save the transactions data only, right? Like what is the user and all. Go with a NoSQL database, that is more than enough. Or PostgreSQL, that is also more than enough for you. Don't go for Oracle or something. Either MySQL also fine, because yours is a small. How much traffic you are expecting? Hardly within a month you will expect at least 100 transactions, at least 100 people buy your product. So if that is the case, MySQL is also fine. MySQL is very small one. Either PostgreSQL or MySQL or MongoDB, these are fine. Don't go with the Oracle or SQL Server, because you need to pay a lot for them. Okay. Okay, guys, anybody have any other questions? No. Please read about the concepts, whatever I have mentioned in that MongoDB related stuff, right? Please go ahead and read all the concepts. Even in the JavaScript side, just what it is called, brush up your skills more and more. Still, if you don't understand about some particular concept, please let me know. I'm always here to help you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah, bye.